Hello and welcome to Jill Cameron Creations. Today I'm sharing a Slimline Dad card with a free SVG file for you. And we are going to look at a great color palette. It's that navy blue with a bunch of different greens and brown. And this is a very masculine color palette, and I absolutely love it, and it's a great option for making more masculine cards. So the SVG file is this stacked die sentiment, and you can either die cut them all individually and stack them up, or you can cut them all as a one image and then do die cut inlay with them. I chose to stack them up because I wanted more dimension on the card. And I am doing a slimline version of this card, and that's what the file is actually sized to do as well. So for my slimline cards, I'm doing 9 by 4 1/4. I know there's several different sizes out there, but I think probably for most of the die cover plates and that kind of thing that's out there right now, so most of them, the largest one's going to be 9 by 4 1/4 from what I'm seeing. I see some smaller ones out there too, but just saying. So I literally just cut all of this out with my silhouette Cameo. You saw me put the first piece of paper on there, and then I just cut everything else out. Well, once I got this particular section on the card, and it goes together very, very easily, you can definitely determine which layer goes first. It needed more on it. I needed more layers on it. So I saw that, but I wanted to go ahead and get the background done first. And what I wanted to do was create a subtle pattern in the background. And you know, sometimes when you're a card maker, you have trouble with figuring out what in the world you're going to make for the background for this, just for the simple fact of it's a guy's card. What are you going to do with it? So I ended up doing a plaid background. Now I messed my background up, but I still kept it, and it still works, and it's no problem. The background that I'm using is from Concord and 9th. It's an older stamp set, but it's still available, still very popular. It's a buffalo plaid. And you do need to give this CPR, no matter what kind of stamp if you use a stamp positioning tool, if you put this on something and then flip it over and put the paper on top of it, you still need to make sure that there's really good even pressure all the way around on this particular stamp. Now I was going to go ahead and stamp this again, and then I was like, you know what, I will end up sticking my fingers in that embossing ink there. I'm using Distress Embossing Glaze because it adds a hint of color and it's transparent. It's not like other embossing powders where it is opaque. It is completely transparent, so you can see behind it. So I did this. This is antique linen that I used for this particular card, and it just makes it more brown, and that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't want it to be, the yellow would have absolutely gone with it, and I could have done this in a yellow embossing powder. That dull yellow embossing powder would have been great. Nothing too bright, but with yellow on the background of this would be pretty as well. But I still wanted that earthy kind of thing, and it gives it a much warmer tone, and it's super shiny without it being blingy. And that's one thing that I really love about this Distress Embossing Powder, is that it adds that hint of different color there without it being blingy. So now this is where I messed up. I didn't account for the edge of the stamp when I lined it up, so there's a gap in between my currently stamped image and what I'm going to stamp, which is fine. Like I said, I fixed it. You don't really pay attention to it, and I love the card anyway. And that goes to show you that your cards don't need to be perfect. They just need to be heartfelt, and that's it. You could, for this card, absolutely only use a few of the layers, do it on a traditional size card. For a landscape card, you could do this even as a portrait card and put dad lengthways, put the D, one D at the bottom, an A in the middle, and a D at the top, and then put the little sentiment, like a sentiment strip normally on it. You could do the do a couple layers and do, like I said, a landscape card for it for a traditional size. You could do this as a slimline card and use patterned paper in the background. There are a ton of options when you have a big statement sentiment like Dad on here. And I went with Dad because most Father's Day cards, and you know, they're Happy Father's Day on it. But I wanted it to say Dad because I think it's a little bit more personal, and it's the sentiment that I put with it is from a Paper Tray ink, ink to paper stamp set, and it's owl, like hoo hoot owl, always love you. And the little sentiment says, thank you for always being there for me. And I think that was an awesome sentiment to go with Dad instead of just Happy Father's Day. I think that was pretty awesome. So I'm sharing the Dad SVG file with you, and there's also going to be a great big huge package of SVG files that are all sentiments that you will be able to resize and use on your projects as a card maker. I think we forget sometimes that we have that ability, if you have a digital die cutting machine such as a Cricut or a Silhouette, that if you don't have that perfect sentiment, you can make your own with it. And that's something that I really encourage you as crafters, is to utilize all of your resources. You don't have to have that die that is so super popular out there. You utilize what you have at home. I have actually made a lot of my own slimline dies in Silhouette Studio to use, and I have those over in my store, and it's because I want to save a little bit of money, and I love stamps a lot better than I like dies. So I'm trying to make my own things more, and I'll share with you what I can, and of course I'll put in the store and tell you about it, all of those that I do have. So this is the Dad card, and I added a few more layers to it, and I'm using Elmer's Glue All to glue all of the layers together here. And I do like it in a smaller bottle with this needle tip. It works so much better. So I'm really enjoying this glue. It saves me money. It saves, I can run to my, local big box store and pick it up. So I'm really enjoying the Elmer's Glue All, and think I have my new glue friend. So to add some extra stuff to this, I am adding Nuvo drops in gloss white. This is just straight up gloss white. They're the opaque drops. They're not anything that's shiny, sparkly, or anything like that. They just have a gloss finish to them. So I covered up that area right there with a couple of dots, added some more, and then I'm adding dots here and there everywhere on it. And that takes away from the fact that there is a big gap there and you don't really pay any attention to it. You can still see it, you just don't pay any attention to it. And that's, absolutely fine with me. So I'm finishing up this card. Don't forget to head over to my blog so that you can get your free digital download SVG file for your cutting machine. You can use it with either Cricut or Silhouette or the scan and print, because I believe Brother will do SVG files. I'm not really sure about that, but I'm assuming it can. And then you'll be able to make your own Dad layered card there. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the sentiment over here. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you don't miss anything. Also, this is going to be the last Father's Day card for the 30 days of cards in June, and I'm going to be moving on to some thank you cards, and I have a couple of comparison videos coming up. The next one is going to be stamping with Distress Oxide ink versus Distress ink, and you'll be able to see the difference in the two very plainly, and using the exact same colors and doing some stamping with those. So definitely check in with me later on, because tomorrow later on, because I'm still doing 30 days of cards here in June. And like I've mentioned before, in July we're going to be doing some Christmas in July. My friend Brandy has a class that's Christmas in July, and I'll share the link with you over on to that. So she's doing a Christmas in July live class where you'll be able to make some cards with her for Christmas, and check that out. And I think that's about it for right now. I've been busy just making cards and busy making cards and just busy making cards. So thanks so much for joining me today. Y'all have an amazing day, and don't forget to head over so that you can grab your free SVG files. And I have some additional ones that I'm going to throw in with this that are for Father's Day, like Father's Day sentiments and different words for father, like dad, daddy, you know, that kind of thing. So I will throw those in with this as well. And then check out the shop so that you can see the Slimline stuff that I have in there as well, just so you can pick that up. Thanks so much. Y'all have an amazing day.